Hello and welcome to another episode of Chasing 48. I'm Zach Harley. Appreciate you being here once again for episode number 8 on this season so far. I was going to say it's a young season, but we're about a month and a half in now, around the 40-game marker, so I don't know if we can call it a young season anymore. We're still not to the one-quarter point, but anyways, appreciate you being here. This is a Ghost Runner Media production. Your Cleveland Indians, 21-18 on the year right now, 3.5 games back of the White Sox for first place, struggling as of late. Just get right into it, I guess. It was an up-and-down week for your Cleveland Indians. They start with the 2-game sweep of the Chicago Cubbies. That was good to see. Cesar Hernandez, he's been hot. Get to it a little later. He had a 2-run dinger, put him up in the 5th inning. Took the lead, and no one else scored after that, so they won that one. And then game 2, Amed Rosario gets all the RBI in that game. Walks it off with a single in the bottom of the 10th. He had 2 RBI, all they needed. Beat the Cubs 2-1 there. And then Plesac, they go out to Seattle. Yeah, everyone's getting ready for Jared Kelenic, and Seattle started a rookie pitcher too. What did Zach Plesac do? Well, he forgot his cleats. And then he almost pitched a no-no in those forgotten cleats, or I guess they were someone else's cleats. They're his now because of what he did. He goes 8 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. They were both home runs. He struck out only 2, which I thought was weird, but he walked 3, so kept that pitch count down. And then they take 3 straight L's against the Mariners and just absolutely get their ass kicked. And then last night, Sam Hentges can't even make it out of the 2nd inning. Gives up, 6 runs to the Angels. Ohtani hit a ball. If you're watching, I swear it was at his chin. He hit that ball like 500 feet. So, yeah, it's been up and down. They had some good pitching. They've had some bad pitching. They've had a little bit of offense. Like, they kind of showed up late last night against the Angels. And, again, I'm so bad at this. It is Tuesday, May 18th I am recording this on. So if you listen to it on a Wednesday or Thursday, when I say yesterday, I'm referring to Monday. But anyway, so yeah, up and down week for the Tribe. One more thing about that Angels game. Just Ohtani's absurd. He's so fun to watch, isn't he? He's monstrous. He's monstrous. He's one of my favorite players to watch in baseball. He's one of my favorite baseball players, period, because of what he does on the mound and at the plate. But he is just so fun to watch, and I'm glad I got to watch a little bit last night. So like I said, up and down. Last 7 days, they've hit 9 home runs. That's good. They've only scored 20 runs. That's bad. That means all their runs are basically coming off home runs, which isn't good. And then on the year, just to emphasize how not good the offense is right now, runners in scoring position, they're hitting the area code, 216, 216 for people. It took a little longer to get that. So hasn't been the greatest of weeks for the Indians. Luckily, they play in a division where everybody else sucks besides the White Sox, so they don't lose too much ground. They're still in 2nd place in the AL Central, and that's good, and they have a favorable schedule coming up the next 2 weeks, which I'll get to a little later, so I hope they can bounce back from that. But I wanted to start here, and I don't think you've heard this anywhere else, okay? Maybe at the bar, maybe with your friends. I haven't seen it anywhere. I don't want to take credit for coming up with this idea. I mean, it's not an idea, it's just an observation. But Shane Bieber, okay? So Shane Bieber hasn't been himself. His streak ended at 20 consecutive games with 8+ strikeouts. He struck out 7 on Sunday against the Mariners. Didn't get out of the 5th inning. Went 4 2/3. Gave up 5 hits, 3 runs. Walked 4. Struck out 7. 4 is the season high. He only struck out 4 once last year. He's already done it twice this year. I gotta credit it all of it, to Roberto Perez not being behind the plate. And I'm not saying it's Austin Hedges' fault, but Shane Bieber without Roberto Perez is just a really good pitcher. He's not Cy Bieber with not Roberto Perez behind the plate. Zach, how do you know this? Well, the last 3 games. Okay, well, how do you know it's the catcher? Here we go, all right? So I'm going to give you Roberto Perez's numbers first when he's catching Shane Bieber, and then I'll give you Bieber's numbers when Hedges is behind the plate. So Perez caught all of his first 6 starts, and that was up until Perez got hurt, okay? So Roberto Perez has caught 6 games. In those games, Bieber has pitched 42 1/3 innings. He's only given up 13 runs in those games. That's good for a 2.76 ERA. All right. He has given up 28 hits in those 6 games, in those 42 innings. He has struck out 68. He has almost 5 strikeouts per walk. Really, really good. And get this, okay? So opponent batting average, .178 when Roberto Perez is behind the plate. Opponent OPS, .556. It's terrible. When Austin Hedges is behind the plate, okay? 3 games, 17 innings pitched. He has given up 8 runs. Remember, he only gave up 13 when Perez was behind the plate for 6 games. He's already given up 8 runs in 3 games with Hedges. That is good for a 4.15 ERA. Shane Bieber has a 4.15 ERA in these last 3 games. In the first 6 with Perez, he had a 2.76 ERA. That's elite. He has given up 23 hits with Hedges behind the plate. Again, only gave up 28 with Berto and 6. He has walked 8, which is a little more than half. So he walked 14 in 6 games. He already has 8 in 3. He is only striking out 3 per every 1 walk. Opponent batting average, okay? This is where it really, thank you for sticking with me through all those numbers. 324 opponent batting average with Hedges behind the plate. 929 OPS with Hedges behind the plate. So with Hedges behind the plate and Bieber on the mound, average player is Mike Trout. The average player. If Bieber's on the mound and Hedges is behind the plate, it's Mike Trout. The average player when Roberto Perez is catching Shane Bieber, it's Jake Bauers. It's actually worse than Jake Bauers. So there's the difference right there. And is it strictly because Hedges doesn't know what to call? I don't know. That seems a little ridiculous. And if it is, that's a problem because, well, I mean, it's May 18th. You had all of spring training, all of April, and now you've had 3 weeks as the main catcher, basically, 2.5 weeks. And you don't know how to sequence yet? That's your job, dude. And it's the team's best pitcher. So you better know how to catch him. You better know how to pitch sequence against these guys. It's not like you've been going against the Red Sox and then the Yankees and then the White Sox and then the Dodgers. No, it's been Seattle and Chicago. And who else was it? He had one more. The Royals were awful. Those are the 3 teams that it's been against, and it hasn't been good. I don't know what it is. Hedges is apparently a world-class framer, a pitch framer. So I don't think it can be that. I don't think he's not stealing the strikes that Perez was. But he's not. Look, Bieber is a guy that when he throws the ball, when he pitches, he's getting a lot of chasing swing and misses, okay? He pounds the zone. Yes, he does. Absolutely. He throws a lot of strikes. But he also gets a lot of swing and misses from sliders out of the zone or changeups out of the zone. So now, and when you get a swing and a miss on a chase pitch, you have to set up earlier in the at-bat to get the count to where the batter is going to chase that pitch. He's not going to chase a slider away 2-0. He's going to spit on that and wait for the next one. But if it's 0-1 and you just threw a heater by him and he's expecting another one, you can maybe try that slide piece away 0-1 and he'll swing at it. Or 2 strikes, you definitely have a way better chance of him swinging at that. So maybe Hedges isn't calling the right pitch at the right time. I don't know. But it's not good when last year's Cy Young winner, who had a 1.76 ERA last year, now is putting up an ERA of 4.86 when the current catcher that the Indians are going to throw out there for the next 2 months is catching. Shane Bieber having a 4.86 ERA with Hedges behind the plate. That is a recipe for an absolute implosion for this Cleveland Indians team. 2 months? Because they're not calling for Perez until July. So you're going to get 2 months of this, and I'll just roll right into my next thing. So you're going to get 2 months of Bieber's 486. Now, look, I don't think it's going to stay at 486, but I do kind of not see it going back to, $1.76 ERA, 2.20 ERA. I can see it sitting around 3.50 after a 2-month span. But you can't have that paired with the questions that the Indians have at the back end of their rotation. Because Tristan McKenzie has been not very good. He has not been very good. He is walking a lot of guys. And it drives up his pitch count. And then when you're throwing a lot of balls, period, if you got 3-1 and you just walked the last guy, well, you don't want to walk this guy now. So you're going to try to challenge him on a fastball or a pitch that you trust you can throw for a strike. And I think for Tristan McKenzie right now, that's only a fastball because he can't throw many strikes. So when you're challenging him on 3-1 or just in a hitter's count in general because you're scared to walk another guy, you're going to give up some hard hits. You're going to give up some loud hits. And so you have McKenzie's questions paired with whatever the hell we just saw from Sam Hentges last night, which I know he's not the answer to begin with. I know he's not the answer to begin with. He was never going to be an answer. The Indians were really, really, really leaning on and praying and hoping that Logan Allen could do it. And he couldn't do it. So now they said, okay, we'll try the Sam Hentges guy maybe until Logan Allen comes back. Maybe he gets a few starts in Columbus and then can come back. I don't know. I don't know what their plan is with Logan Allen right now. I haven't seen anything on it. I've looked for it. I haven't seen it. So maybe they try Cal Quantrill. That's cool, but those are huge questions at the back end. And then pair that with Shane Bieber throwing up 4 5s, and he can't get out of the fifth inning. That's a problem. He hasn't gone 7 since the Yankee game. And he went 7. Remember that duel? That was like 4 weeks ago. So it's worrying. It's worrisome with this pitching staff. All of a sudden, what we thought, the strength of this team, the core of this team, if the Indians are going to do anything, it's going to be because of the pitching, and the helping's just going to help them get there. Or the hitting's going to help them get there. But now if you can only trust 2 guys in Savali and Plesac is sometimes, like most, unless he faces the White Sox, he's good. But if he has to face the White Sox, now you're getting 4 days of I don't know what I'm getting? That's not good. That's worrying to me. And so what are they going to do? I don't know. I mean, so here's what I'm hoping for Tristan McKenzie to answer that 4 spot. I'm hoping, and not to the level of success that he has had, because, Trevor Bauer was drafted number 3 overall back in 2011. And I don't think Tristan McKenzie was drafted that high. He wasn't drafted that high. I don't know what round he was in. I'll be honest. I'm ignorant in that sense. But I know he wasn't a top 3 pick. So he didn't have the expectation of Bauer. He didn't have the pedigree of Bauer. He's had injury problems, whatever. But I hope that Tristan McKenzie goes the way of Trevor Bauer. Because remember when Trevor Bauer got to Cleveland? Not everybody out there liked him. And it wasn't because of his tweets. He wasn't tweeting back then. It was because you thought he was a bad pitcher. And he struggled. And remember, it was the first inning. He couldn't get out of the first inning. He would just kill himself. He'd give up 3 runs in the first inning and just put everything behind. You remember that? And then something clicked. Experience. Working on it. Working on his craft. He became a Cy Young winner last year. He's making $40 million with the Dodgers this year. I'm not saying I want Tristan McKenzie to go to the Dodgers. And so I'm sorry I don't want Tristan McKenzie to ever make $40 million because that's the only team that's going to give it to him. And damn well it's not going to be the Indians. But I'm hoping he goes the Trevor Bauer route where it takes him some time. He has some struggles early, but it's not a consistent struggle. It's he'll mix in a good start, which he has. He's had a couple good starts this year. But the command is worrying me. He's walking more guys than I would like to see. And it creates another question in this rotation when you can't have questions in the rotation that pitches for the same team that has a question in like 6 of the starting lineup. 6 batters in the starting lineup there's questions about. You can't. It's worrying me. I can't have it. What are you going to do? I'll start Quantrill in the 5th spot instead of Hentges. You can get Hentges the hell out of here, because even if he's good, like he was good 2 starts ago, but he can't go long into games. So how are you going to trust that guy as a 5th starter? He's not Josh Tomlin. Just plug him in at number 5 and you're done with it. He can't go deep into games. He can't, and with the other struggles of this team, you just can't afford it. So I'll start Cal Quantrill. He started in San Diego 2 years ago. His ERA was in the 5s. That's fine. He's 2 years older now. He has experience. He's been pretty good. This year, 20 2/3 innings pitched. He has a 2.18 ERA. Now, he has walked a couple guys. He has 11 Ks compared to 10 walks, so he's got to cut that down if he wants to be a starter, which the Indians want him to be. They traded for him to be a starter, not a reliever, and I can see him definitely starting the next time out, because I'll get to it a little later, but they're going to have an off day, so they're only going to need 4 pitchers for the next week because they have an off day, so it'll line up to let other guys go. So Quantrill could show up in 2 weeks as a starter, because I sense Terry Francona doesn't want to keep throwing out a guy that gives him 2 to 3 innings and he gives up 4 to 6 runs every time he's out. So Quantrill, he has an ERA plus of 1.99. That's good, but I would like to see him start because I don't know what else they're going to do. All right, so I guess I was wrong on this rotation just being the strongest thing ever, the backbone of the team, which they still are. They're still a really good pitching staff, but they're having some problems right now. That's not the only thing I was wrong about, though, which, if you know me, that's not something you get to hear often, so treasure it, because I don't like saying I'm wrong. But I was wrong. Jordan Luplow is not an everyday player. He's not. He's batting $174 over the last 2 weeks. He has 2 RBI. He has 6 strikeouts and 6 walks. Okay, well, maybe you should platoon him every day. Just bat him against lefties like you did. He had success then. Well, maybe. Maybe. Against righties, right? The side he's supposed to struggle against, he's batting .205 and 39 at-bats. Against lefties, he's batting $159 and 44 at-bats. That's basically the same amount of at-bats. He has 5 more against lefties than righties. And he's batting 50 points lower against the kind of pitcher he's supposed to do good against. So can we platoon him against the lefties? Do you want to? I mean, you got to play him, because who the hell else are you going to play? Harold Ramirez is already saving you from playing somebody. So what are they going to do? Because Jordan Luplow, I mean, I think he can turn it around. I think he has the talent. But I don't think he's an everyday player right now. And watch, I guarantee I'll go back and forth on this all season long. One week he's going to go yard like 3 times and hit .330. And then the next week he's going to bat $150 and strike out 8 times. I might do that throughout the year. But right now, at this moment in time, on May 18th of 2021, Jordan Luplow cannot be an everyday player. Who I am pleased to see be an everyday player is Harold Ramirez. He had a home run last week. He had a home run last night. He's got a .278 batting average, .825 OPS. He can run. Tito likes him as a pinch runner sometimes. If he's not starting, I haven't seen any problems with him in center field yet. And you can't say that about anybody else on the team, even the corner position outfielders. They've had some problems. Eddie Rosario took a route to a ball last night to left field. I forget who had hit it on the Angels, but it was terrible. It turned him around twice. He was originally going the right way with his left shoulder towards the wall. And then he turned with his right shoulder towards the wall. And then he went back left and chased it. Just took the worst route I've ever seen. I stunk at outfield, and I've never taken a route that bad. So I like Harold Ramirez. I like what he's doing for the team. The offense, I don't have many good things to say about the offense right now. I wanted to say good things about Jordan Luplow. I was really digging into the stats. I'm really digging into the splits. I'm like, all right, against lefties, he's Oh, God. All right. Well, against righties, maybe he's doing... Oh, no good. Okay, well, maybe at home he's playing bad. No. All right, maybe on the road. Maybe he's a road warrior. Maybe he rakes on the... son of a... Okay. Well, maybe he's better at night. And no, all the numbers are the same. He is very consistent. He's a very consistent player. I'll give it to him. He's hitting a $181 everywhere you look. I guess, yeah, 205 against righties. Woo! Good for you, Jordan Luplow. But he's a very consistent 181 hitter. And it ain't good. I'm not going to lie. This offense ain't looking good right now. And I don't know how they're going to turn it around. Franmil's batting a $170 in the last week. I know Jose had a little bit of a struggle there. He's back now. But, I mean, Hedges, you can't trust him with and I don't want to kill the guy, but you can't trust him with the bat, obviously. Jake Bauers, honestly, has not been embarrassing with the bat, but that's still not saying much considering who we're talking about there. Josh Naylor's been good. I think Josh Naylor and Jose are probably the most two consistent batters on the team. Maybe throw Harold Ramirez in there. Eddie Rosario's been up and down. Ahmed Rosario had a good couple days against the Cubs, but ultimately he's still not that good. So this offense, man, I thought it was going to be a more positive show than this, but geez, I'm looking at the pitchers and I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm looking at the hitters and I'm like, oh my God. I don't know. They're still only 3.5 back, and I'll tell you why that's not a bad thing in a little bit. But first, got to get to love to see it, hate to see it. What I love to see, oh yeah, I haven't said one thing I love to see so far. So we'll start with what I love to see, and that is Cesar Hernandez making me look like a damn genius. Or I just look like I've watched baseball in the last 30 years. Either way, I feel like I'm really smart right now because Cesar Hernandez led off the game last night with a dinger. Did you hear that? He led off the game. You can only lead off the game if you're, good job, class, the leadoff hitter. And that's exactly what I was calling for at the beginning of the year. And now he has led off the past 18 games. And in those 18 games, he's batting .250 with a .774 OPS. He has 3 dingers and 8 RBI. Okay, Zach, .250 is good. How does that make you a genius? Maybe he'd be better. No. In the 2-hole, because he's only led off or batted second this year, okay? In the 2-hole, first 20 games of the year, he batted a .197. He had a .562 OPS, gag. He had 1 dinger and 3 RBI. So in 2 less games, he has 5 more RBI, 2 more home runs, has an OPS 200 points higher, and his batting average is 50 points higher. The dude's a leadoff hitter. Remember when Cesar said he didn't want to lead off? What a lack of self-awareness, because he's raking as the leadoff hitter right now. And I feel very smart about it, and that's why I love to see it. Because I love to see me look smart, especially after Luplow made me look very, very dumb. So I love to see that. Now we got to get to what I hate to see, and that might just be the name of this podcast. It probably won't, but it probably should. I hate to see Bieber streak end. Obviously, he went 20 straight games with 8+ Ks. I know I went over the struggles he's having with Hedges right now. I know. But God, was that impressive. Do you know when he started that streak? He started that streak on July 24th of 2020. Do you know why that date is significant? Because that was the first game of last year, which means he pitched 12 games last year. He lost 1 of them, and he struck out less than 8 in none of them. He struck out 8 or more in every single start last year in 12 of them, and then he starts this year with 8 more games at the same rate. He passed Randy Johnson and Pedro Martinez on this list. That's ridiculous. We watched history and bitched all the way through it because the offense sucked. I know some of you appreciated it. Some of you were, yeah, screw the offense. This is fun as hell to watch. But a lot of you just bitched about some random guy that was only on the team for 2 weeks, Ben Gamble, and didn't appreciate Shane Bieber. When Roberto Perez gets back, I mean, damn, if Perez didn't leave, the streak would probably keep going on. Because it ended with striking out 7 in 4 2/3. If Perez is catching, he probably goes longer than 4 2/3 and probably easily hits 10 strikeouts. So he might start it again at the end of this year. Who the hell knows? But that was fun to watch, so I hated to see it end. The other thing I hated to see, same series against the Mariners, Seattle beat Cleveland 3 of 4 times. Seattle has the worst batting average in baseball at .205. Cleveland has the second worst batting average in baseball at .209. But Seattle in that series had the worst batting average in baseball, and the Indians dropped 3 of 4. You lost a game that Shane Bieber pitched. You lost a game that Aaron Savali pitched. So I hated to see it. Damn, I hated to see that. That sucked. That sucked. Because I thought they could have really done some damage against Seattle. I really did. Seattle was struggling. They were playing 500-ish. Like I said, their batting average was the worst in the league, so I thought the Indians could really take advantage of that with their pitching advantage, right? You thought so? No. So the Mariners take 3 of 4 from Cleveland after they have a great 2-game sweep of the Cubbies, which feels good even 5 years later after that stupid World Series loss. Michael Martinez. So it felt good, and then Plesac comes with the almost no-no. You're like, hell yeah, the Indians are turning it on. And then they lose 3 of 4, and then they get their ass kicked last night to the Angels. So it was a rough week. Like I started, it was up and down, and this is a very frustrating team. I don't know if I want to say it's confusing at this point. It's just frustrating. All right, well, there's only one thing to do but cue the music. Time for your AL Central roundup. So, gonna start with the standings. White Sox, first place on top of everybody. They are red hot. They are 25-15 on the season, 8-2 in their last 10. Indians in second place, 3.5 back. They're 5-5 in their last 10. The Royals, oh my goodness, they're 18-22, which doesn't sound too bad, but they're 7 games back. That's okay. They're 2-8 in their last 10. And I'll get to why that 2-8 is very misleading. Detroit Tigers, they jump out of the cellar. They're in 4th place now. They're 15-26, 10.5 games back of Chicago. So they actually have stayed right on pace with the White Sox because they were 10 games back a week ago. So they're 6-4 in their last 10. And then the Twinkies, my God, I haven't seen a nosedive like this since I think the White Sox did something like this in 15 or 14 where they started red hot in April and May, and then they just burned to the ground. The Twins are 13-26, 11.5 games back of first place. They are 2-8 in their last 10, and it gets worse. I'll tell you why. But I'll start with the White Sox deep dive, 8-10, like I said, in their last 10. They are tied for the second best offense in baseball with 216 runs scored. They are tied with the Astros, right? And then the Astros and the Red Sox. Red Sox are number 1 at 216, and they're tied with the Astros for second at Red Sox 217, okay? White Sox and Astros 216. All right, so tied for second best offense in baseball. They are also, and nobody expected this, they are tied for the second best pitching in baseball. They have only given up 143 runs. That is a run differential of plus 73, which is impressive as hell because we're only in the 3rd week of May. And they're already 73 runs better than their opponents. And this is without their corner infield pieces, Luis Robert and Eloy Jimenez. Those two dudes are going to start averaging 25 to 30 dingers a year, and they're doing all of this without those two. So it's super impressive. They beat the hell out of Minnesota last night, 16-4. They split with Kansas City over the weekend. Before that, they had won 6 straight. They swept Minnesota, and they swept Kansas City. So The White Sox are on a roll, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down. Lance Lynn just keeps getting better and better. Giolito's getting better and better. I mean, that team is... And Eloy, he's going to be out for the whole year, but Robert, he should return in like 2-3 weeks. So that offense is going to get even better. So they're going to be pain in the ass all year. Go to the Royals, which are not going to be a pain in anyone's ass the rest of the year besides Royals fans. They're 2-8 in the last 10, absolutely imploding. They lost to Chicago on a wild pitch on Sunday. That kind of really summed up how they've done. They got swept. Are you ready for this? They got swept by the Detroit Tigres. The Detroit Tigers swept them. Yeah, they did. Kansas City has now... They had lost 11 in a row before beating Chicago twice over the weekend. They had lost 11 in a row. They have lost 13 of their last 15 games. If Chicago would have swept them this week, that would have been 15 losses in a row. And this team was supposed to challenge for a division crown. They might be selling off the team in July. Would you be surprised if Carlos Santana got traded? Probably not. He might. Watch for that. If the Royals keep going this way because their pitching sucks, Carlos Santana's probably get traded off that team. Whit Merrifield might get traded off that team. I mean, oh my goodness. Talk about that team. They might sell it off. They might. Watch out for it. The Tigers. This is a team that has no one to sell off, and they're actually heating up a little bit. That's why I'm going to talk about them this week. I haven't talked about them yet. I don't talk about the last place teams. I say they suck and move on. But the Tigers, 6-4 in their last 10. Pretty good. Heating up. Beat Seattle 4-1 last night. I don't know how to feel about that after Seattle just kicked the you-know-what out of the Indians. Casey Mize, he's getting better, which is actually fun to watch, but I hate Detroit, so I don't want to root for him too hard, but I kind of do like Casey Mize. 7 2/3 innings, gave up 3 hits last night, K'd 7. Like I said, Detroit swept Kansas City. Now, they did lose 2-3 to Chicago, which makes me feel good about the Seattle win that Detroit had because the Indians swept the Cubs, and the Tigers lost 2-3 to the Cubs, so that still tells me the Indians are a better team, which makes me happy. And finally, the Twinkies, they are 2-8 in their last 10. Got their ass kicked against Chicago. They lost that game 16-4 last night. They got swept over the weekend by Oakland. They got swept last week by Chicago. They are that's another team that's probably going to sell off. And it's probably not going to be Buxton, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nelson Cruz gets dealt. I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Donaldson got dealt. They probably have a few more pitchers. Kenta Maeda might be on the block. J.A. Happ could be on the block. They're not going to trade Taylor Rogers. He's young. Yeah, so you could see the Twins and Royals, two of the teams in the division that a lot of people had contending with the White Sox and Indians for first place. You could see them in a month and a half start trading off their key guys, which is good news for the Indians because that means rebuilds are on the horizon. But man, I thought the AL Central was going to be competitive for just one damn year, and the Royals and the Twins have to be a combined 4 for 16 in the last 10 games. Or last 20 games, I guess. 10 each. And they're both Chicago's just kicking the you-know-what out of them every time they face each other. So that is the AL Central roundup. The Twins suck. The White Sox are really good. The Royals are terrible. The Tigers are the Tigres, and the Indians are annoying. All right. Well, that was that. That was the AL Central roundup. Got to hate it and love to see it covered. Coming up, got to let you know what we got coming here. Got 2 more against the Angels tonight, the 18th, and tomorrow, the 19th. Fun, because Ohtani gets to play. Not so fun. Mike Trout got hurt yesterday in that game, and I think I skipped like multiple heartbeats. I was close to having a heart attack there. He should be okay. Leg strain, but again, for I swear like the 18th consecutive year of his 11-year career, he will not get to play or finish a series against the Indians, which I don't think he ever gets to do. He never plays against the Indians, like ever. I swear it's true. I'm not going to look it up because we're already 35 minutes in, and it's going to take another 2 to look it up. But I swear he never plays against the Indians. How do I know this? Because I love Mike Trout, and every time they're in Cleveland, I want to go see him. And guess who's hurt? Mike freaking Trout. So that sucks that he's out. Hopefully he gets better. And then they have an off day on Thursday, the Indians do. And that is good news for them because they won't have to use a Hench's Quantrill bullpen, just film a tone. Here's an easy win for whoever you're playing setup there. No, they can come home. They got 3 against Minnesota, and then they got 3 against Detroit. So that's Minnesota sucks. Detroit's not good. Got a good chance to take 4 of 6 there, maybe even 5 of 6. Squeak a sweep in there somehow. That'd be pretty sweet, huh? We're looking at Tristan to go on Friday against the Twins at home. And I know COVID's not laxed yet, but I expect that place to be a little louder if it's nice. Friday night, capacity expanding. A lot of people haven't been to the ballpark in 2 years. They're vaccinated now. That could be a loud place. We'll see how Tristan does under the lights and in front of a big crowd. Then you get Bieber on Saturday trying to redeem himself. And then, like I said, you can skip Hench's and Quantrill on Sunday because of the off day, so it'll line up with Plesac. So you'll get Plesac on Sunday there. So you should be able to get the offense going if it's ever going to get going. This week is the time to get it going. You got 3 against Minnesota. Barrios is the only one I'm worried about there. And against Detroit, I'm really only worried about Casey Mize. So 2 out of 10 pitchers I'm worried about. You're going to face 6 guys. I think the Indians can... Well, I don't want to say that. I'm going to say I hope that they get it going. And I'm saying that right now, at the state of the Twins and the state of the Tigers, and this is about as good as chances you're going to get to turn on that offense and really get it going and help out your pitchers that are just trying to go out there. I mean, they know. The pitchers know if we give up more than 3 runs, we're going to lose. Pitchers know that. That's their mindset. So they're pressing a little more. If the offense can let them relax and say, hey, we got this. We'll put up 5-6 runs for you. Just keep them under 5. We're good. It would do a world of difference. So if the Indians' offense is going to get going, it's going to be this weekend. All right. That's episode number 8. Can you believe it? We're flying through. Obviously, best number 9, coming up next week. Am I going to do something special? Probably not, but stay tuned anyways. Hey, every episode I put out is special. Someone said, yeah, special. All right. Well, that was it. Episode number 8. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you clicking on Chasing 48 one more time. I hope you keep doing that in the future, as obviously I'll be here all week long. Yeah, I'll be all week long. Tip your wait staff. No, all season long. We'll be doing this, obviously, and into the off season, hopefully. So yeah, go follow Ghost Runner Media on Instagram, ghostrunner_media. And yeah, follow, share. Please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google. And I know I'm forgetting one. Did I say YouTube? I don't know. Anyways, it's been a long day. So I'm going to get out of here. You can go do what you got to do. Tribe getting ready for 2 more against the Angels. Hopefully they figure it out. We got Plesac going, I don't know, at some point. All right, tonight. And then Savali tomorrow. So we got 2 good pitchers. Hopefully they put in some good outings. Trout out of the lineup makes it a little easier. No Pujols either, so it's less daunting. Hopefully they can get it done. All right, that's it. I'm out of here. Appreciate you tuning in. As always, I'll see you next week. Be a good person. Be a great person. Do something nice for someone. I'll see you later.